Before you watch this video, subscribe now. Before removing the rear tires, make sure that the gear selector is on park mode. For manual transmission, put it in first gear. After you put it in park, release the parking brake and wait until there is no movement. Pull the parking brake and put some support or stopper for the front tires. This is for extra safety. This is the tool that I'll be using for compressing the rear brake piston. This tool is a lot cheaper compared to other rear brake tools. Compressing it is not as simple as pushing the piston inward. Remove the tires and put it underneath the vehicle. This is the rear disc brake caliper with a handbrake or parking brake mechanism. The other type of rear disc brake caliper is the one that has a separate parking brake mechanism. This Mazda 2 has a broken shock stopper. I will fix it soon, so stay tuned about that. I will be using these Bendix brake pads. I also have a tutorial for the front brake job of this Mazda 2. For more details, just check the link in the description box below. The brake pads are equipped with the new brake shims. Grab a 14mm and loosen the 2 bolts of the slider pin. You can whack it with a hammer to hasten the process. The 2 bolts are the same. Next, lift the caliper. This is the rear piston. It has 4 notches for the tool to fit in. It also has a built-in parking brake mechanism. Use a brush to remove some dirt and dust. This is the little tool, and it has different patterns for different car manufacturers. The tool fits perfectly. Others use long-nose pliers. It may work, but there is a higher risk of damaging the surface of the piston. You need to use a 3/8 ratchet for this tool, but I don't have one. So I improvise and use a steel bar. Before compressing the piston, make sure to check the brake fluid level of the Mazda reservoir. When you compress the piston, the fluid will rise up. You can decrease it using a syringe and an empty bottle. You can just leave the cap open. This is an ABS sensor wire. Be careful not to push it or damage it. I will put my rubber mallet here to hold the brake caliper. The compression of the piston works by twisting it clockwise. You can exert a little bit of pressure to help it compress. Remove the old brake pads. This is how the brake pads has been placed. If you look closely, it has a small circular stopper. You can see the markings of the piston on the brake shims. It means that this small stopper matches the vertical notches or pattern of the piston. The brake pad is held up by the piston. It is important that these two matches, or else it won't work properly. Here is the difference of the two brake pads. You can see the difference of the old brake shim and the new one. I will clean these brake retainers. Time to regrease the brake sliders. Clean the slider and put some new grease. The proper grease for this job is a synthetic grease or the silicone paste. These are a bit expensive, but does a great job. I will be using a lithium grease which also works well. The other one is hard to remove. I found out that this sliding pin has a built-in rubber sleeve. Clean it and put some new grease. Wipe off the excess grease. Use a brush to remove some dust on the caliper bracket. Put some grease onto the ends of the brake pads too. Remember that the piston is always in vertical position, so that the pads will match accordingly to the piston. You can put some grease here where the caliper holds. Gently install the caliper. Put some grease onto the bolts and reinstall it. Please take your time to read this important reminder. I hope you enjoy and find this helpful. Subscribe now for more videos. Don't forget to hit like and click the bell to keep you updated whenever I release a new video. Thank you very much and God bless.